Hello, welcome to this episode. In 2024, there were many amazing games played, but we would like to share some of the stats with you, and these will only be from my set of decks. Overall, I have about 15 playable decks, and many of the games were of a pot of three that were played. In a game like Commander, where there are usually four people playing, a quote unquote winning percentage would be about 25% of the time. Now, with a pot of three players, 33% is that winning percentage. But now, before we get moving to showing you the data, I'd like to mention that we will be attending MagicCon Chicago from February 21st to the 23rd. That's the last weekend of February. We would love to see everyone there and be able to get some great games in. While there, we will be handing out a surprise to anyone who finds us and says hello, or who we get a game in with. If you'd like to see more of the content and new types of content, we have plans such as budget brews and random wacky combos. Leave a like and subscribe. If there's anything you'd like to see from us, leave a comment below and we'd be happy to oblige. Now, to the main event of the video.
Now, what you've all been waiting for, MTG Game Stats of 2024. So our highlighted stats are going to be my overall games played were 53, my commanders played were 11, and I have so far 15 built commanders as of the end of the year. We're going to go over the pod size that I played, and now we're going to get into it. So the data that we collected overall, we had the commander's name, we're going to have their wins, we're going to have their losses, we're going to have their win percentage, and we're going to have, is this deck having fun? Because we all know that's the key part of having Magic is having fun. Like winning's great and all, but having fun should be centered. So now the win percentage calculation, what we did here was we took our overall wins of that particular deck, and we divided by the number of overall games to get you your percentage. And then for overall percentage of wins, we did the same thing. We added up all the wins and then put that over all of our games played as a total and got a whole percentage at the end of the year. Now, we'll go into that a little bit more later as we go on, but place your bets now on whether I had a winning percentage. So we're going to start at looking at our monocolored. And our first monocolored is going to be Finn, the Fang Bear. Now, over the year, he was played 4 times. He had no wins. So he got a 0 on that, which is kind of sad. But is he fun? Yes, because he takes poison counters into a little bit of a different play, and I play him as spreading the love. So early game, if I already hit you, I won't really touch you until later. So that way I'm spreading the love because nobody likes losing to just, oh, I took 10 points or I took 10 pips of damage somehow. So I spread the love evenly. So we always got to spread the love. That makes the game a little bit more interesting. So we only had that one monocolored. Now we're going to go over our dual colors. That means that's every color pairing. So white, blue, green, white, so on and so forth. So it's going to be 2 colors for these decks. Our first up is going to be Kudo, King Among Bears. He was a newer deck that was built at the end of the year. I didn't sadly get a game with him, but I'm hoping to get some more reps with him. He is really fun. The idea is to make everybody a bear when he's on the field. Everybody's at 2-2, kind of makes everything fair. And then I have secret ways to either buff up my bears only or ways to give them a quick boost of trample, and then I'm going to hit you for a large amounts of damage. And since I'm the only one with a board left, bears win. So you bear down. AC, the Tyrant of Gyre Strait. This is still a precon. I have not touched it at all. I've not upgraded this deck, so it's still the precon. But the general concept was you play a lot of lands and you play giant creatures, so serpents, krakens, giant things like that, and it's a lot of fun. It's a great way to get back into it after not playing for a while, and also because it's still precon. If somebody's new to the game or built their first deck, I can crack open a precon that I already have, and I won't feel bad whether I win or lose because we're all just trying to learn. Now, Liza is my first deck that I had ever built, and this year she did not do as good as she should have. She only had 1 win and played 5 games, so that's a win percentage of 20%. It's still really, really fun because I'm cheating that command attacks every time she gets blown up at the end of the game and everybody's low on life. So the way you're going to play this is you're going to gain life, and you're always going to try and be at the highest life, and then I'm going to punish others. So whether it's put like a Secret Shieldred, hint, hint, wink, wink, or other effects, and then once you're low on life, I play her, and if you're going to try and finish the game on low life, every time you have to play something, you're going to lose 2 life. So you really got to watch out for that one. But I really look forward to seeing where she can go. Now, Rakdos, or as I like to call it, the Rakdos Sakdos deck, he was the newest when I played him at MagicCon Chicago 2024 last February, a year ago. Amazing how time flies. So he was newly built, and then I got a lot of reps in with him. But he had 2 wins, 7 losses, so that's a 22% win rate. So not horrible. He's super fun because the way he's played is not your standard per se Rakdos. It's more of like, I'm going to play things that make everybody else make a decision and sack their board, or I'm going to get some kind of reward, whether it's drawing cards, getting a treasure token, or just keeping my stuff, and you guys don't really get your creatures. I leave most of your other permanents alone, but hey, Rakdos Sakdos. Now, here's another Precon, did not touch, did not break him out because there wasn't, just like AC, there was no need to break out a Precon last year. But his is pretty much you make some dragons and you hit your opponents, and you just find ways to deal damage that way by making a bunch of the dragon tokens. He was pretty fun the 2 years ago at this point when I played him. I look forward to possibly breaking him out again because he's not in my standard lineup, but we'll see what's in store. Now, here is Toxrill the Corrosive. A lot of people have bad juju with him because, you know, you're putting slime counters on things, you're going to put -1/-1, but, and case in point, that's why out of the 3 games I played, I lost, because either I was targeted, or my whole theme is just make a bunch of slugs and draw all the cards. Like, a sub-theme of this deck is just for me to draw out my deck. I don't have any way to win if I did draw out my deck, because that was not the game plan, but it's literally just make all these slugs, sack them, draw a bunch of cards. It's really just goofy, really fun. I look forward to being able to, after some upgrades maybe, be able to just draw even more cards. That's literally all I wanted to do with this. And he did that, so yeah, is he fun? Fully fun, fully fun. I don't care that he costs 7 mana. I don't care that he gets blown up. As long as I'm able to make some slugs, draw some cards, he did his job. He's a good boy. Now, speaking of good boys that are actually kind of scary, and you don't see him, is Umbra's Fear Manifest. I played 4 games, only got that 1 win. It was a big win. So that's 25%. He's super fun because nobody really knows what to expect. They know they're going to lose some cards, but they're not sure what is really going on because he kind of appears to be turning his wheels until all of a sudden he's just slamming into you. So it's mostly exile my opponent's deck or take cards from their deck, and I make him huge because these aren't counters. He just gets +1/+1, so he's just throughout the game slowly like building and building. So he's in my command zone, and then all of a sudden out of nowhere, late game, I play him. He's already can be like 42/42, and you give him some sort of evasion, then it's like, oh shoot, you know, that's a lot of not just damage, that's commander damage. So he's really fun to play and really comes out of nowhere. It really kind of messes people up, especially, sadly, you know, anti-graveyard, because I'm literally aiming for that graveyard. I'm aiming for that deck. That's all he likes to do. That leads us into another Dimir, the Scarab God. Only played 3 times because he's kind of accidentally the lower end of some of these decks. He's only got the 1 win, which is great, but it took a lot to get that win. So that's 33%. He's still really fun because I just wanted to make zombies and then make some more. So after a little playing, that's what he does. He just makes, I make a zombie here, make a token here, and oh look, I have an effect that makes another one. That's really all he's for, is just to really go wide. So now we're going to go over some of the tricolored. And the first up is my second deck I've ever built. I really had shot my hopes high. I went from a dual color to 3 color. Like, wow. Normally, you don't see that on Commander. So it's going to be Rebek, Architect of Ascension, and Silas Ren, Seeker Adept. So I played them 4 times. They did not win. All games were super close because this deck is mainly just play a bunch of golems and artifacts and see what can happen. So you don't really see golems a lot. Like I have a couple hidden big boys in there. Don't want to give it all away. Might end up with a steal in the name. Haha. But yeah, it was really close. They never really let me down. Super fun. Now, some of you may know this one from when it came out. Some of you may not. But my favorite Dragon Commander is this one, Miram Sentinel Worm. Uh, Case in point, played it 12 times. I won 4, so that's 33%. Super fun. I just play as many copies and have copy effects of Miram as I can. So my goal is to get like, 4, 5, 6 Mirams on the field. And then if I play some other dragons that are really good or support, sure. But the key of this is just really I wanted to make as many copies as I could, or non-legendary copies as I could, because Miram sees Miram enter and makes another Miram. So you can wind up at one point having off of one card three 6/6s with Ward 2 on one turn. And it just can go off. It needs a little tinkering maybe with the land base to stay consistent, but then I worry about going too far into CDH. So we'll see where he goes this year. Now, the Promicon Sky Rampart is completely just a joke deck. It's literally walls. I have so much fun every time I play it. Played it 4 times. All of them were losses, but it's kind of the deck that's designed to just have fun. You don't anticipate a win because, well, it's walls. And when Promicon's out, you can only swing one way. So hopefully I have the biggest threat to one of my sides so I can swing them around the table and kind of have my own personal shield. Um, yeah. Next up, we're going to go into 5 colors. I do not have any 4 colors, so we skip that one. First up for 5 colors is going to be Najeela the Blade Blossom. Played 6 times, won 2 of those. That's 33. And it's super fun because I just make a bunch of warrior tokens and I want to take as many combats as possible. So not just with her ability, but with other cards as well. And, I just love the idea of, oh, I attack with one thing. Well, actually, I'm going to send like these 3/1/1s all the way over here. And you're not really thinking about it. Oh, it's 1/1s. But if they stay on the board, all of a sudden it's like, wait, why do I have 12 1/1s coming at my face? Because that adds up real quick. It's so much fun. Now, to say Weatherlight Captain, um, it doesn't win. I haven't played it in a while, so I kind of, forgot how to pilot it the 2 times, and that's why I haven't touched it because I thought I was going to upgrade it, but I didn't. It's still fun. I made this my default shrine deck, which some of you out there knows that's all the reason you play to say Weatherlight Captain, because you can go find all your shrines. Um, but I might tinker with it a little bit, maybe fix out some of the other support enchantments, support creatures. But yeah, this is just kind of like walls. It's just meant to be kind of fun, kind of jank, kind of like, either I just don't really care for this game and I'm out here to have fun, or I'm teaching a new person to play, and the easiest way to do that is basically take myself off the board, because once the save's on the board, all I do is find a shrine. Oh, look, passive. Find a shrine. Oh, look, passive. And so you get to kind of have your gameplay, but if you don't watch out, all those enchantments are going to add up quick. Now we're going to look at this year, enhancing performance and some build plans for this future. So overall, the gameplay. My weekly pods, majority of these pods were size of 3. It was just with the same players, same kind of decks hitting each other, kind of bouncing off. It was just me and my 2 friends playing over Spell Table. Every once in a while, I get a 4 pod at a new shop, and that kind of added a little bit. My overall win percentage of the year, out of those 53 games I played, I only had a 21% win chance. That's not horrible, because if you think about it in a game of Commander, the object of winning, if we're doing percentages, is in a pot of 4. You're 1 of 4, so you should be winning 25% of the time. in the pot of 3, you should be winning 33% of the time. So at a 21%, that's not too bad, especially the first time keeping track and trying to play, I guess, smarter, harder, faster, stronger. Um, so 21, we're going to try and up that average this upcoming year, and we're going to try and shoot for that 25%, hopefully go a little higher. Um, Magicon started the year off last year for 2024. That's where the majority of the games came from because you just get a lot of reps in. Those were played in pods of 4 because those are full pods. There's everyone. And we will be returning this year in 2025, the weekend of February 21st through the 23rd. We'll be there all day. Come say hi. If you know who we are, if you know anything about us, we love meeting people. And if you can find us and either mention this video or any other video or our catchphrase, you will earn a secret prize from us. And we'll love to get a game in with you. So on to the new build plan / upgrades. So on the left here are 5 of the decks I think could use for an upgrade or tinkering. And then I have 2 new decks that are either process of being built or that I've had on the shelf for a while and might be time to switch in for some of these other decks that, as we talked about, that winning percentage, don't seem to be fully winners, even if I am having fun. The fun ones might just have to be on my showcase shelf from now on, and we might just have to stick to some winners because, we got to up these averages, So first up, we have that Liza, Shroud of Dusk. That was the life gain. We have the Scarab God, Zombies, and more. And then there's this new deck called Mizzix of the Is Magnus. He's a spell slinger. I don't really play Izzet because a few times I played Izzet left a bad taste in my mouth, but I think if I can build this correctly, I'm going to have so much fun just replaying the same card over and over without having to play Solitaire. That's the big key to this deck. Do it without playing Solitaire. Finn the Fangbearer, he's that poison. He's really good, but there's a few things that could have a touch-up, and he'll be perfect, as he already is. And then another new deck would be Tasha the Witch Queen. I've had that one on my shelf for a year and a half, maybe 2 years now, and I really kind of want the ball rolling. So if you guys have any hints or questions, comments, or something that could help these decks that I haven't talked about in a previous video or I don't talk about in a future, leave a comment below and we'll make sure to see if we can add those. So now the considerations for building these or upgrading them or other little tinkering around. So for Liza, as I mentioned, we're going to fix and add some more draw spells into the deck because it's Orzhov. Orzhov kind of struggles with that a little bit. Yeah, you're in black, but if that's not the main focus, you kind of forget that, like, oh, hey, I should add some draw spells or I should add tutors. And it was my first deck, so it definitely could use some work after however long I've had it, for 2 years, 3 years now. We're going to fix the mana base, so i.e. either more common lands or just take out these lands at the time I thought was fixing the mana base, but it comes in tapped like an Archway Commons. I don't necessarily need that in the deck anymore because I have an abundant amount of resources of common lands. I have fancier lands like a Marsh Flats would be a great substitution, so things like that would really fix Liza and just maybe bring her up to speed instead of having to slow down to turn 2 or 3 sometimes. So we'll see how that works. The Scarab God, I went with the overall arching theme of just zombies, create zombies, zombies. I kind of went all in on that, and it's a great archetype, but I need to have more proper synergy pieces, so kind of treat it maybe more like a 60 card where, like, I play card A, like a Rooftop Storm, and I can immediately just play Acererak, which is in the deck, but only having one combo doesn't really win you games because you got 99 cards. That's not a good percentage to hope for 2 cards without tutors, And I'll add a little more lands because I think I'm running 36 lands, and that's about average, but I think that's a little low for what this deck wants to do. So I think if I want to get this going, adding more proper synergy, so like clear combos instead of just, well, I happen to make a zombie, I guess I might make one more, or here's a zombie that does something because zombies, but I don't have zombies. So we'll see how that goes. A Scarab God might have been on the chopping block, so next year, if this video comes around again, who knows? Maybe the Scarab God got the chopping block and he's dead for good. Rest his soul. So that new deck, the first new deck out of the two, Mizzix of the Is Magnus. The key kind of idea right now, we'll see how it goes in playtest, was just play gradually more expensive spells, gain as many experience counters. So we're going to play some X spells to get like a lot of experience counters, because with these experience counters and the commander out, I can cast things for free or near free. And then if you play with rebound or any of those effects where I can play it again and again and again, and I can just play the same effect over and over again. So watch out. Who knows? Maybe there's two fireballs. Again, I didn't ask the size of the room. I said I cast fireball. So moving on, we got Finn the Fangbearer. He's the mono green deck. He's my only current mono colored deck, and he was a gift. I love this deck to death. It is so much fun, even if it does get a bad rep. If at first it's like, oh, poison counters. But again, I spread the love. But because I have to spread the love, I kind of made the deck or play the deck a little weak. So in order to get around that, I'm going to add a few more ways to get around or give evasion in late game. So like flying, double strike, more trample, just upping his base power and toughness, and or other ways to get around. So like add a Triumph of the Hordes, that already gives poison, but like that gives the trample and buffs it up. So effects like that in order at the end when I'm sitting here, I'm like, okay, my opponents have this board state. No one's going to let me touch them even for one, because it has death touch, so they'll get two. So I need a way to force them to let me through regardless, because knock knock, daddy's home. Now the final new deck is going to be Tasha the Witch Queen. She is going to be kind of more of like steal all my opponent's cards, steal what their deck is playing, and when you have something on the board, just because she can't touch it, I'm going to have other effects in there that are going to give me control of your key pieces. And so I'm just going to be playing 4 decks at the same time. So I'll have my key pieces, and thanks for the cookie, because I'm taking your key pieces too. So, Commander's a social format, so why not share your decks with me? I'll love to play your decks. I love to see what you're playing, and maybe I can play it better because, thanks for the loan. Now, some final tips and takeaways out of this whole video, out of the whole year. It would be mostly fix or change some mana bases around, because that's the key part, obviously. Make sure nothing's below or too low on mana. Make sure if I have too many not basic lands, maybe turn it to some basics. Nothing wrong with playing basics, nothing wrong with playing the basic land, and then it will really up the game because it doesn't come in tapped or doesn't have some goofy effect that I have to play around. I can just play it and go. We're going to add some more win cons in general because, originally building a lot of these decks, I had my theme and I went with it. I didn't really look out for, the equivalent of zombies, as you saw, was the Acererak, Rooftop Storm. I play him for free. If I don't complete the one Tomb of Annihilation, I can just win the game by pinging my opponents for one run in through the other dungeons. Or if Najeela, I didn't accidentally stumble around infinite combats. There's other ways to win, but I need to figure out ways to win without just combat, even though that's an essential part of the game. And then a few other decks, I've stopped myself from playing with the combos because I thought that was too mainstream, or just I didn't see it and didn't have the money at the time. But now going forward, we're going to add a few more combos, especially with that Izzet deck. That one's going to have a lot, so maybe it'll get me outside of my comfort zone, and we're going to be popping off with a lot of more combos. And a lot of the decks, I'm not aggressive. Case in point, Finn. So if we just up the aggression just a smidge, not enough to make people scared or upset, because we never really want to end the game and have somebody be upset or feel bullied, but up it a little bit, because, yeah, it's a social format. Everyone needs to have fun, but I can't take the hit of a win just because I didn't want to hurt somebody's feelings. I need to get in there maybe a little quicker, Swift foot boots. Got to get in there, got to hit hard, got to hit fast. And always keep having fun. That's a big one. So far, as you saw, all the decks, conveniently, even if I didn't play them, I've had a good experience with. Now, going forward, if that changes, maybe I'll have to realign. Did I go for the win? Did I go for, percentages too much? Did I try too hard? Did I, accidentally step up a deck too much and then it takes away? Who knows? We'll see. But as long as I'm having fun and the table has fun and everybody walks away with a good experience and not a sour taste in their mouth, that at the end of the day is what we're all about. Now, some other things here are, what decks would you like to see or hear more of out of this list? We do have about 12 other decks on the team, and they haven't made a showcase yet, but if you see some of our other videos on our discount channel, you'll see some power out there, Hamza. Go take a look at that video, and you'll see what we're talking about. Go take a look at some other things. We've got some really good things in store for you. Now, as an audience, I appreciate your time. Do you have any tips or tricks you would recommend going forward for any of these decks? Maybe a build a deck you'd like to see going forward. You'd like to see it for budget. You'd like to see it expensive because sometimes you don't know where to go. Or you'd like to just see it at all because you don't want to play it. You want to see somebody else play it. So let us know in the comments below. Let us know overall, and we'll get back to you. Now, just some final thanks. Thank you to our viewers. Thank you to you for watching this video, for coming this far. Like, subscribe, and leave a comment so you can keep us in the algorithm and you can keep seeing more goofy content. We'll see you next time because, as always, the best removal is player removal.